This was my first going away gift from my first duty station at 1st Marine Division. They gave me this knife and it sat on like a plaque that said my first service or whatever. Not whatever, but this came with it, and so now I use it. Most artists will sharpen with a knife. Just so happens that I have a bayonet. I remember my mom and my grandpa would give us white sheets of paper and we would start drawing, and then that's how we would color. It was very rarely we would get like coloring books. We would have to draw it ourselves and then color it in. So art was always in my family. My mom, my grandpa, both my aunts were all artists. Some of my earliest memories with art are pretty much when I could pick up a pencil. There's actually videos of me drawing when I was 5 years old with my brother, and we were showing our grandpa our awesome sketches, and he was being, "Oh, that's so good," but really they weren't that good. But I started drawing as quickly as we could. I was born in the rural country of Baltimore, Ohio, about an hour from Columbus. Very much farm country.
Or
we raised
even pretty fat.
It was a
I don't think I like.
upbringing. I did not grow up in a military family, though my dad did serve a few years in the Army. I was also very, very shy. I did not speak a lot growing up, and surrounding myself with all these activities kind of helped me get through high school and my younger years, because I didn't like the attention. And for some reason in my mind, putting on a uniform or doing something like art that kind of distracted people from me and more on like the art I was making helped me. I always saw myself as graduating art school and becoming a concept artist for movies. But in my sophomore year of art school, I took a class called The History of Illustration. And I remember very distinctly this 10-minute moment within that hour class where my professor brought up something called combat art. And I was shocked. Combat art? What the heck is combat art? Do you mean they send artists into combat to draw? I'd never heard of this before. But something in my brain told me to look into that more. And so after that class, I ran home and I started Googling combat art, military combat art, and it brought up the Marine Corps Combat Artist Program. It took me like another year to really simmer on this, because did I want to be in the Marine Corps, or was I just looking for my next adventure, something outside of who I was as a person to again maybe distract from that inner shyness that I grew up with and get people to look at me and something different, just a story to tell. And I decided that I really did want to be in the Marine Corps, and I think maybe I always did want to join the service, but I never really thought much of it because I wasn't in a military family. It wasn't something that was talked about as me, especially being a female, doing. And so I said, yes, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. Another year goes by as I'm training to join the Marine Corps, and then the day after I graduate college, I ship off to Parris Island, South Carolina, and start my journey into the Marine Corps. I talked to the Marines in charge of our schooling at DINFOS, which is the MOS schooling that you go to, and showed them my portfolio, and they switched my billet to graphics Marine. In 2016, I got word from the director, Charlie Groh, who was in charge of the Combat Artist Program, that, hey, the program's back and we want you to be a part of it and start making art for the Combat Art Collection. So that's when I became a part of the program. The Marine Corps Combat Artists program has been around since 1942, and back in the day, we didn't really have photography and videography, so they relied heavily on artists to go out to the front lines. They said, go to war, do art. That was their directive, and that's what they did. Fast forward over the years as photography and video becomes more prominent in the world of storytelling and documenting. Art kind of takes, not a back burner, but it becomes less prominent. The Marine Corps is very heavy on tradition, and they, I assume, didn't want to see this program go away. And people who have seen the artwork firsthand also don't want to see the program go away. So the program continues. Vietnam, it was very prominent. There were a lot of artists, Vietnam War artists, combat artists, civilians, and mainly Marines, sharing Marine Corps stories. And through Afghanistan and Iraq, there was just 1 or 2 artists. And then the program went away and came back. I've had a pencil in my hand since I could pick up a pencil. And why is it? What is it about drawing that makes me want to keep doing it? I don't know. It's just part of my DNA, and I can't really ever see a version of myself not creating artwork. Part of it that is so intriguing to me is being able to take something that has nothing there and making something from that empty space, and creating your own stories, or literally being the director, producer, creative vision of whatever it is that you're making, and having full control on how you want to see it. But what's even more cool about that is people interpret your artwork in 1,000 different ways. And I might have had one reason for drawing this, but somebody else can look at this and see themselves in any part of this drawing and connect with it in a different way, and it takes on a whole new life form of itself. So that's just really cool.